Good morning. Welcome to Morning Meeting. So here's what's on my mind this morning. I'm in my office. All the windows are installed and done, and my son's back to school. So I feel like, okay, I can come into my office space and I can start to work from here. I love this space, by the way. This is where I'll do all my writing and my recording and things like that. This is also the space that for a long time was devoted to our tea business, our tea company, because in another room is our blending room. Now, I don't really talk about this very often, and part of the reason I don't talk about it is because I spent years thinking I failed. I failed at the business. I failed my children. I failed in my relationship with my husband. We started the business in 2003, 4-ish. We started at a farmer's market. That was a great proving ground, by the way, because I became a custom tea blender and a custom lemonade blender, and I'm very good at that. I like to cook, I like to develop recipes. I'm very good at that, and I really enjoyed doing it. A lot of fun. That part, a lot of fun. And I enjoyed learning how to start a business and find vendors and all of that. Um, but I felt like I failed. It was a struggle every damn day. There was a new struggle every damn day. Something was going on. And I was trying to juggle, I was pregnant, and I was trying to juggle the pregnancy, and then after that, getting the business going, and then after that, finding daycare, and then after that, being at the store and missing my son, and then my husband's traveling. He had a job too. He hadn't started to open his business yet. Traveling, and then when he started his business, he was traveling even more, and we're trying to travel with him and manage the tea business. And oh my God, I felt like a complete failure. So this came up yesterday because he and I were talking, and he thought that the reason I walked away from the business was because I was bored. And maybe I said that at some point, and I said that as the excuse or the explanation because I really didn't want to get into it. But yesterday I let him know, nope, that wasn't it. You thought I was bored? I wasn't bored. I love tea. I like blending teas. I like blending lemonades. I like coming up with recipes. I'm just good at it. And I'm good at developing a business. That wasn't it. What I was struggling with was trying to make everything successful every damn day, all the time, and being the super spouse and the super mom and the super business owner. But I was trying to do it all, and that shit is hard. Trying to juggle all that ain't easy. That's not for the faint of heart. And I haven't met a single person in my life yet who's been able to do that successfully. So why I thought I could do it, I have no idea. But I was broken and I was discouraged. And that is why I walked away from the business. I never sold the recipes. I never sold anything related to the business because I always thought in the back of my head, maybe I can revisit this. Maybe I'll do something else with this later. So I never completely walked away, but I walked away from most of that day-to-day stuff because I was discouraged and I was broken. And he had no idea. He had no idea. I was so unhappy because I wasn't able to do my best in everything. And that's who I am. I'm an achiever. I'm a high achiever, very goal-oriented person. And if I'm not doing my best, then what is the point? What is the point? And that's what I was saying to him yesterday. It had nothing to do with being bored with the business. It had everything to do with feeling like a failure in every facet of my life for a long time. Like I said, we started about 2003, 2004, and then stopped in about 2016, 2017. We became profitable in the business about 6, 7 years in. Became profitable. A lot of reasons why. Made some very tough decisions, but they ended up to be really good decisions, and then turned a profit. But by the time we got there, I was already beaten down. I was already so discouraged and so broken that I just couldn't do it. It was just killing me. And how do I know that? Because I was drinking constantly. I drank a lot. I didn't drink hard alcohol. I was a wine person. I drank a lot of wine. And I don't drink anymore. I've done a whole video on that, so you can go find that if you want to. But I don't drink anymore. I haven't had any alcohol for years. Don't miss it. Don't think about it. Don't crave it. That's just kind of the way it worked. But it took a long time to get to that point. And I also explained that in another video of how I got to that point. But I was hiding. I was hiding from the fact that I felt like such a failure. I was hiding from that rather than dealing with it and really walking through it. And it wasn't until I went back to school for my master's in educational psychology, and I was studying positive psychology, that I started to really deal with some of these things. And I never sought out a therapist um, for whatever reason. I just didn't. But I finally got to a point where I was like, crap, I wasn't a complete failure. There were plenty of successful moments associated with that business. There were plenty of successful things that I did with my children and with my spouse, even though I was looking at the whole thing going, man, I suck. But I wasn't able to do that until even a couple of years ago. I wasn't able to recognize that. I'll give you some examples. We were interviewed, or I was interviewed a few times when we first opened the business, and I've got these things in frames, these interviews, and I was very proud of them at the time, but I tucked them away. So for years they were gathering dust and I never looked at them. And when I started to clean out the building because we were doing the work in here, found them. I knew where they were, but I found them, cleaned them off, and for the first time, and this just happened this summer, right beginning of the summer, for the first time in years, I looked at those articles and I felt a sense of pride. I was like, well, shit. I took something that people didn't think I was going to be able to do, and I made it work. I had people around me saying, why are you leaving a successful career in the area you were in to start a business about tea when you don't know anything about tea? Why are you doing that? And I was like, well, because I like tea and I can learn everything else. And then I did. But it wasn't until months ago that I was able to really look at that and go, well, damn, I didn't totally fail. There were some successes here. God, I did okay, right? So I share all this to say, hey, look, happiness, it ebbs, it flows, it waxes, it wanes, it goes up, it goes down. You may be happy right now, and 3 minutes later, something is really making you unhappy. Remember that that's not the way it's always going to be. Focus a bit more on your overall sense of well-being and your sense of hope for the future. Try and focus there, right? Cut yourself some slack. And if you can't, then reach out to somebody who can help you see it. Those classes that I took when I was doing the positive psychology side of it, they helped me immensely, which is probably why I didn't seek out any therapy, because that stuff, those classes, those readings, I'm an introvert, so I do a lot of thinking in my head, right? A lot of internal stuff. That worked for me. And that helped me realize happiness goes up and down. Everybody has a set point. Think about well-being and long-term that way, and you'll be all right. So that's what I did. So today, think on that a little bit. Not everything's a failure. You don't suck. Have a sense of hope because everything's going to be fine for you long-term. So just realize that. And if you need some help, get some help because you can. You can get someone to talk to, and they can help you see that not everything that you do is a failure, because trust me, it's not. It really isn't. So remember, you're a badass. Get out there and have a badass day and have a little fun, you know? See you later.